Going on here, everybody? Two important announcements before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video. First, your eyes are not messed up. You don't need to call your ophthalmologist. Be like, I don't know, something crazy is going on. Okay, if I decided to get a little artistic with this video, I might have done a fancy filter on it, make it look all different colors or have crap on it. Who knows? I'm just letting you know, whatever you're watching this on is fine. Your eyes are fine. No need to be alarmed. Second thing is this. I took notes on what I want to talk about today. So from time to time, you're going to see me do this, right? Just because I want to share all the important information with you, make sure I don't miss anything important. And again, that's why I wrote those. So with that in mind, class, let's begin. Hey, what's up, everybody? Tim Castleman again. I want to talk to you about the Ryan Levesque Ask Masterclass. I shot a video a couple weeks ago about it, tell you about how exciting and impactful it was. And now I want to start to share some of my bigger takeaways from the event. This might be one video, it might be a series of videos, but I promise you this is the first video. And the first revelation I want to talk to you about is something that I discovered very quickly when I arrived in Austin, Texas. And that is, unfortunately, you and I are doing it wrong. Even if you don't have a product or a service that you're offering now, the way that you've been taught in the past, unfortunately, is wrong. Okay, and I've been guilty of teaching that method, and I want to make amends. I want to kind of share with you my new way forward. So let's talk about the old way, right? The old way, it still works, by the way. It's just not as good as what I'm going to share with you in just a moment. So the old way was, if you want to create a product on golf, go out and buy 3 to 5 golf products, look at their sales pages, read them, check them out, see what they have to say, take a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one, a little bit, combine them all together, and then make your own. Now, again, that method works, but unfortunately, it still has a critical flaw that is costing you a ton of time and money. And here's what that critical flaw is. Most people sell a one-size-fits-all cookie cutter solution. What I mean by that is, picture you're at a hospital, right? Guy comes in for a broken arm, guy comes in for a dialysis, and another person is in a car wreck. And they try to treat them all with the same type of treatment and the same type of medicine. Well, that doesn't make sense because they're 3 unique and extraordinary and different circumstances. The 3 different types of customers with 3 different needs, issues, concerns, etc. And most of us, and myself included, up until this point, have been trying to sell a one-size-fits-all solution. And the problem with that, again, is you're not tailoring your message, you're not tailoring your marketing, and you're most importantly not tailoring your method, your product, your solution towards the people who need it most. So not only did I discover that, right, but I also discovered the cure, if you will. And the cure is, okay, according to Ryan, is the deep dive survey. And you're like, well, what does that mean, Tim? Do we have to get snorkel gear? And no, you don't have to go to the bottom of the lagoon to find this out, okay? No need to take a trip to Disney or anything crazy like that. Here is how you find out what your customers want. It's revolutionary. Get a pen and a paper. Take notes on this. Get ready to write it down. Are you ready? You ask. What, Tim? I thought it was going to be this huge thing. No, it's crazy, right? Unlike wives, if you ask questions and you go, hey, I've got a question, what's bothering you? Like, unlike your wife, they'll actually tell you what's wrong. There won't be a nothing, everything's fine. They'll actually tell you what's wrong. And you may be thinking, well, duh, okay, I've heard that before. But here's the important reason why behind doing one of these deep dive surveys. It's seductively simple, but it's so smart. And here's what it is. Not only is your customer going to tell you what their problems are, they'll probably tell you what they tried before, what they didn't work, what didn't work in the past, and most importantly, what they don't want. Trust me, people may not know what they want, but they definitely can tell you what they don't want and what hasn't worked in the past. Ultimately, they tell you what all of the things that they want, so that you can create that, combine something that you have, or again, tailor something that you've already got out there in a new market, a new direction. And the great thing is you're using their language to help sell them. And you'll be thinking, well, Tim, I don't get it. What's the big deal? You keep talking about language. It's more than that, right? If you were to find out that your market was 10 years older than you thought they were, what would you do differently? Chances are you'd run different ads, you use different images, you talk about different things than you would now. If I mention Game of Thrones to my circle of friends, we all get it, right? If I talk to my pop, great-grandfather about Game of Thrones, all he can think is like, the dragons are coming, the dragons are coming. And I'm not saying dragons aren't coming. I'm just saying, if I were to send an email to my buddy who I go have beers with, it's going to be totally different than I would send to my parents, my grandparents, or people of equal in stature and age. Old people, we're We're talking about old people, not you. Super old people, right? Okay, so with doing these deep dive surveys, they're incredibly easy to do, and they're incredibly easy to implement, even though apparently being able to say the word incredibly is incredibly difficult, right? Here's how you do it, okay? You can use Ryan software. It's awesome. We're starting to use it. You can use something like SurveyMonkey, and you can even use Google Forms if you need to. And if you've got a list, you can basically go out to them and say, hey, I've got some questions. I need some answers. Would you be willing to help me out? And you're like, well, Tim, I don't have a list. Well, the good news is doing a survey or a quiz funnel is one of the easiest and best ways to instantly create a list. Think about it. I'm not trying to sell you anything immediately. All I want to do is get your feedback, get your opinion. I'm sure sometime in your life, whether it's been for a free credit card or something along those lines, you have done some type of survey, you provided your feedback, you've given customer data to that business that hopefully they in turn used it to better understand, interpret your needs, and help you overall. So I would urge you, whether you have a product or a service, whether you have a list or whether you don't, to utilize these deep dive surveys. And I'll be sharing more about how you can do that and my next takeaway in my next video.